Hey Chris, this is a demo video for you for your custom Starkiller that you sent me to install a CFX in with NeoPixel setup. Um, so when you sent this to me, there were no buttons in here, your rods were not installed, and your pummel was not installed, your pummel cap. You also didn't have a crystal in here. So I did a few things. Didn't use JB Weld. I used E6000 on these. I had to come in on these rods, and um, I hand filed a radius on each end of these four rods so that they could fit into the circular pattern on this pummel cap. I did E6000 the pummel cap on as well. Um, E6000 the rods in, taped them up real tight, let them cure, they're good to go. I did come over here on the other ends of these rods, and I put a chamfer on them so they won't cut you. On this Starkiller, we didn't talk about grip orientation. So you could go the cross orientation, as aligned to your bunny ears, or you could go the X. I chose to do the cross on this. So what you'll see is this top rod right here lines up perfectly this way with your bunny ears. You can see it right there. So you've got the cross orientation. That is a real quartz crystal in there. You'll see it a little bit better when I fire this bad boy up. But had a crystal, had to do some grinding on the crystal to make it fit into the top and bottom holders. So got it to fit in there. I did add an 8/32 set screw. I drilled and tapped this hole for an 8/32 set screw for blade retention. So I made it to where you have two blade retention screws on this thing. You've got this knob right here that will act as a blade retention close down to the NeoPixel pins, and then you've got this set screw that I put in here as well for you. Okay, and then of course I added your buttons up here and your control box. The top one that's closest to your emitter is your activation, and then this one right here is your auxiliary. So let's open this up. Before I open it up, I would like to say, man, this thing is this handle is skinny. It is hard to fit everything in here, but we did get it. I wanted to give you a 28mm speaker, but because of the size of the diameter of this handle, it's about the size of a 28mm speaker, so I couldn't encase it like I wanted to, or like I normally do. So what I did was, it is fastened to the very end of your chassis. So here's your chassis, removable battery setup, and then your board right here. I did not fasten your board down with any type of adhesive. It is a press fit in there. It's a very tight press fit because I had to come up from underneath with some of my wires. Both of my speaker wires, power wires, they're all wired up from underneath. But I made this chassis and printed it out and designed it to where this was a tight press fit. You can pop it out if you ever need to get to your card. But then you just need to be careful putting it back in, because it takes a little bit of doing because of the tight space that we had to make this work. So you'll see that you got your board right here, and then immediately over here you've got your battery. When this handle's all the way on, you can see there's hardly any room right there. As a matter of fact, when I put this handle on, you'll see the speaker is butted up almost right up against your sound vent. So I made it to where there was just enough room for everything. Your chassis is epoxied in with E6000, so if any time it just absolutely had to come off, it can without breaking it. But the wiring for your NeoPixels, your switches, and your crystal all happen in this area right here. So I encased it with the chassis. So there's a chassis tube, or part of the chassis is a tube about that long, comes up right to the base of the crystal chamber that holds all that wire, so nothing is going to ground itself or touch against metal. So that's the technical stuff of what happened. Let's throw a battery in. I will be sending you this battery. Keep power battery, very good. I did not put a positive or negative sign for battery orientation in your hilt, but this the spring right here, that's your negative. So your positive wants to always go towards the speaker. It's important that if you put this battery in wrong, you'll fry the board. So just remember, I switched to these new battery terminals so it could be easier for people to remember that these springs go on your negative side. So let's throw a battery in, just like that. It is a tight fit, but everything screws on pretty well. We'll test out some smooth swing, and we'll show you the crystal before I put the blade in. I've got your blade as well. So here's your activation. Nice light up on your crystal. Flash on flash. And turn it off. And we'll put a blade in. You got a 7/8 inch blade right here. I did do a light sanding on it anyway. I do a light sanding for for light diffusion, but I also wanted to help this go into your blade holder because it is a tight fit. So we'll tighten up this set screw right here. Doesn't have to be super tight, just give it a little, make it a little snug. And then this button right here, or this knob, is a secondary blade retention, so you're hitting it from both sides, which is pretty nice. Problem is, you gotta make sure you put the blade in all the way. Like I said, it's a tight fit in here, so. Just when you think you got it, go in a little bit more. There we go. There's your blade. Your crystal mimics your blade, so you want to tap your auxiliary for blast or deflex. Hold it down for blade lockup. When you want to change color, hold your auxiliary button and twist your wrist, just like that, and now you can just twist your hilt to find whatever color you want. This is a Starkiller, so let's go back to red. Tap whatever button you want when you like the color. And as long as you have the battery in, as long as the battery stays in and you turn it back on, it will remember the blade color and the blade effect for that sound font. Crystal. Now you do have 31 blade effects on here, so to get to your blade effects, hold the auxiliary and twist your wrist, but keep the auxiliary down.
Spectrum.
Hold it down.
Blade profiles.
Now you can twist your hilt again. You asked me specifically for an unstable blade, and here's a really good one right here. But we'll go through a couple different ones of these so that you can see what's going on. Rainbow blade. It's a pretty nice unstable blade as well. This one's unstable just from about 12 inches off the emitter. I mean, as you can see, there's all kinds. So when you find one you like, just tap the button. That quartz crystal has a nice shine to it. When the blade is off and you want to get to your sound fonts, hold down the auxiliary button.
Sound bank selection.
A small rebel force has penetrated the shield and landed on Endor.
So you can cycle up and down through your sound fonts with either one of these buttons.
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth?
Well, you look like an
When you find one you like, hold the button.
Right.
Some of the sound fonts on here have music tracks. So when the blade is off, double tap the activation. And you can do anything you want to when the music's playing. To turn the music off, just double tap again. Just like that. So we'll turn this back on. Take the blade out. It's a snug fit. I could have sanded it to where it fell out in and out easy. I thought because, you know, you do have a somewhat, it's not too bad, but you know, your PCB pins are about right here. So I wanted to give you everything that you'd need to hold the blade in. So a tight fit, 2 set screws, you should be good to go. You know, I hope you like it. It was a nice build. I love doing Starkillers. Yeah, so I'll upload this and I'll get it sent your way. Thanks.